Hey all, it's Sarah with Paint Party. I am going to walk you guys through today how to paint the sunset with the weeds. Pretty simple painting. It doesn't have a ton of steps to it. I'm going to show you how to make the sky, and then I'm going to show you how to make the kind of ground where it's a little bit dimensional. And then we'll walk through the sun and some of the weeds. So I've just got a few colors today. I've got blue and white for my sky. I've got orange and yellow for my sun. And then I've got some dark brown and some black. If you don't have dark brown, you can add black to your regular brown, and that will make that chocolatey color, okay? So I've got just a big kind of round brush here. You could also use a large flat brush, like this one. I've also got a medium size kind of rounded brush, and then I've got a skinny mini brush for my little weeds, okay? So I've also got some water and a paper towel. I'm just using a mixed media pad. To be honest, I started to paint this already, and I'm really bummed because it didn't record. So I'm gonna repaint this background for you guys on my mixed media pad, and then I'm gonna switch to my canvas. I just really hated to waste a canvas. Okay, I'm sure you guys can relate to that. All right, so I'm gonna dip my big round brush in some water, and we're not gonna use a lot of paint. We're almost gonna kind of use like a watercolor almost technique. So I've got some white and a little bit of blue, and I'm taking my brush and I'm just kind of swooshing it around. Swoosh, swoosh. I'm gonna make myself a line about 1/3 of the way down. And we're just, what we want is we want some blue to pop through and some white. We want definitely more white than we do the blue. So you guys can see it looks kind of like a cloudy day. Okay. And if you get too much blue, what you want to do, if you feel like it's like too dark, you want to rinse your brush out and put some white on your brush and start to mix it in with the blue, or you can let it dry and then just go over it with some lighter color. Acrylics are so forgiving that they cover so well after you dry, especially with the white. Okay. So you guys can see I'm literally just kind of smishing this on there. It's not a lot of paint. Okay. All right, so you can, of course, just like add as much paint as you want. Keep going, lighten, darken. You know, of course, you can pause me anytime and take as much time as you want for that background. And I'm gonna actually just switch out here to my other canvas. This background is already dry. This is my 11 by 14 canvas. Okay. And then I'm going to show you guys this bottom part here. So again, take your time with the top. That's the great thing about painting to a video is you can just pause me. No big deal, okay? All right, so I've got a flat brush for this bottom part. I've got it's like a 3/4 inch. I've got my chocolate paint, and I've got some brown paint. Black. Black and chocolate. Got myself all thrown off with this canvas thing. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna just drag your paint across the bottom And what I did is I took my flat brush and just kind of made myself a line. Now you could do, take your skinny brush if you wanted to. And you can also add a teeny bit of white in there. That'll kind of warm it up a little bit. Give it that dimension, that movement. Okay. All right, I think I'm happy with the way that looks. Next up is we want to put some of our, I don't know why I'm using these bowls today. It just, they were there. So that's what I'm using. So I'm going to put some yellow, some orange. And if you have red nearby, you could use a little bit of red or even a little bit of that dark brown color to darken up that orange. Full car paint is always so thick. Okay. All right, so this is where this, and again, guys, just pause me if you're not ready, just pause. So we're going to use this kind of medium-sized brush. I'm gonna start with the orange, and I always like to make things smaller than I think it's gonna be. Okay, so we're just gonna kind of draw our sun in. So I'm gonna find the center here. And like I said, I'm gonna make it smaller than it needs to be. And then from there, you can kind of look at it and say, okay, we need to go a little further on this side. And you know, everybody's is gonna be different, right? Every sunset is totally different. And you may want yours small. You may want yours to be like off in the distance further or not so big. So what I'm gonna do, guys, I'm just putting some orange on first. It's just gonna kind of be our base color. My brown is pretty dry. And these acrylics, these inexpensive acrylics, like this one in particular is just Craft Smart Orange. They have a lot of white in them and they cover really well. Now, if you're using something like the paint in the tubes, you may need to put some white in to get some coverage, just to kind of get your base color on there. But that's where we want to start. We want to just start with this guy. And then we're gonna go from there, and we're gonna add some colors in and just kind of brighten it up, okay? So I'm gonna take just a smidge of this red, mix it with some orange, and just kind of barely dabbing that paint on. And every time I do a sun, they look completely different. Do a little bit of yellow over here. It's almost like I'm just kind of dabbing the paint on, guys. It's not like one of those like do it exactly like this and this is how it's gonna turn out, you know. But I do want to have a little bit more red over here, and then I'm gonna wipe my brush, and I want to have a little bit more yellow down here. And it's really easy to kind of like lose your colors. So what I mean by that is when you start to blend them, it's like, why is it orange again? The more you blend, the more it just kind of becomes one color. So sometimes you have to just put it on and let it dry and leave well enough alone. And if you're, you know, if your colors do just keep kind of meshing together, sometimes you just got to step away or get out the hairdryer and just kind of give it some time. Okay. So I think I'm happy with mine. I think I might take a clean dry brush and just maybe just kind of go in and just clean some of this up a little. I've got just a lot of paint on there. Okay, I think I'm good with that. And remember, we're gonna have a bunch of weeds over it and all kinds of, you know, other stuff going on. So again, you know, I try not to make these videos too long just for the sake of storage and all of that. So just pause me if you need to and take your time, okay? All right, so we're gonna use the skinny brushes. You can have more than one if you want. I always like more than one because inevitably sometimes my brush tends to get like kind of wonky and I want to pick up a different one. You could also use like a paint pen for this part, would be appropriate, I think. Just make sure that you've got your paint completely dry. Okay, I also have this little kind of angled brush that could be helpful too. Experiment with what you've got. You can always test the waters on a piece of paper and see how it goes. But we've got different sized weeds, okay? So super light touch. I'm using that dark brown paint. And I like to go all the way down. You can always go back and fill it in. Okay. And I'm just kind of going to avoid my sun for right now because it's still wet. But you could always dry yours. The hair dryer. Take a break. Got some that are smaller in here. And I always say when I do something like this, kind of like a tree, like, don't try to do yours exactly like mine. Make it your own, have some fun with it. Which I know is super stressful for some people. Like their OCD totally kicks in. But the more you paint, the easier it will become. All right, now if your paint starts to get thick or anything, you can always add a little bit of water to it. Dab it and then go back to it. You don't want to have drippy. But a little bit of water with your paint sometimes kind of works like magic. All right. So I'm going to add some short ones in there. These could even overlap because, you know, weeds in the wild are going, you know, different directions. Or we could have them have some like little baby branches off of them here. And when I make a branch, I like to make sure it grows out of it. So you want to angle it up. All right. And when you get to the sun, you just want to go directly over it. And it's still a little wet. Let's see, we need something in that area right there. And then also at the bottom, which you can do these now if you want, we've got some little, almost like grass type. So I'm just dragging my paint across. I don't have very much paint on my brush. And I'm just making like little grass. All different lengths. They can be really short, or you can make them thicker. Or taller, I guess. And it's okay to make these just go down into the other brown a little bit. All right, I think I need another tall one. Okay, it's coming together. I'm gonna clean up the bottom of that just a little bit there. Got some orange that I just don't love how that looks from my son. Okay, let's see. All right. So I want to show you guys how to do some of the little leaves that I put on there. And there's two different kinds. You can decide how you want to do these, but they're pretty easy. I'm still sticking with this little brush. And what we're doing is we've got one at the end, and it's just like two curved lines. So I'm really barely pressing down. And it's just a leaf. I know, easy for me to say, right? And then what I did is I just kind of alternated them, and they don't all have to be the exact same size. Because if you think of, you know, trees, they're not always the same size, right? And so we're just gonna go and we're gonna add these wherever you want them. You can have some weeds that don't have any. You can have some that have just a couple. It is your painting. I kind of feel like sometimes like less is more, and then you can always go back and add some. It's kind of hard to take away. Okay, and then I'm gonna keep going on this, but I also want to show you guys the other type of little weed that I did. So I've just got some brown paint on my skinny brush, and all I did was I just went in and just kind of dabbed some dots around the weed. Okay, and so you can put those on like some of your smaller ones at the bottom. You could do it on the top ones. I just did it on the smaller ones. Or if you have something different that you want to add, by all means do. You guys are probably thinking, oh my goodness, why did I put so many weeds? Now I have to put all these little leaves on there, right? All right, so I'm gonna just kind of speed myself up, go through and do these leaves, and then I'm gonna come back at the end and we will finish things up and we'll go from there. Okay guys, so that took a minute, but I've got all of my leaves in. I did experiment a little bit with a paint pen, and it worked fine. It was a little speedier. I like the look of with the brush better, but you know, you could do it either way. So really that's kind of the end of it. You could go in and add things if you wanted to, but I like the simplicity of it like this. I would love to see your finished product. If you want to see more of my tutorials, go check out my website. I've got some tutorials on there, and I'm always creating something new. So it was fun painting with you, and I can't wait to do it again. I'll talk to you later. Bye.